Edward Bullmore, The Inflamed Mind, A Radical New Approach to Depression. Imagine experiencing a bad cold and feeling inexplicably sad, lethargic, and antisocial. Many scientists now believe that the immune system's response to sickness, inflammation, could be a key factor in understanding depression. The book summary of The Inflamed Mind by Edward Bullmore explores the radical new hypothesis that links inflammation with depression, presenting a powerful anecdote about a drug for rheumatoid arthritis and its impact on mood. This summary investigates how inflammation works, the relationship between mental and physical health, antidepressant drugs, the connection between the immune system and depression, and the evolution of this process. By understanding the role of inflammation in depression, the possibility for new treatment approaches for chronic depression emerges.
Inflammation and depression. When our immune system produces inflammation of widespread bodily, as a response to illness, it can also make us feel gloomy and depressed. This could imply that long-term or prolonged inflammation in our body could be the cause of depression. Studies have shown that when rheumatoid arthritis patients are treated with Remicade, a drug that reduces inflammation, it not only relieves joint pain but also makes them feel instantly happy. This indicates that reducing inflammation can boost people's moods, and too much inflammation can lead to depression. The mighty immune system. Our immune system is in a constant battle against harmful antigens. It is made up of various components, with white blood cells being the most important soldiers. Macrophages, a type of white blood cell, are stationed throughout the body and are responsible for identifying and destroying dangerous particles. They then share this information with other cells, allowing for a coordinated immune response. While inflammation can be beneficial in the short term, chronic inflammation can lead to damage and dysfunction. The roots of mind-body dualism in medicine. The book explores the history of mind-body dualism in medicine. The author examines how René Descartes, a philosopher and mathematician from the 17th century, divided humans into two distinct parts, the body and the soul. Medicine, at that time, focused only on the body while ignoring the mind and emotions. The father of modern psychology, Sigmund Freud, wanted to study the mind and brain in a holistic way, but his antidualist idea was opposed. Thus, the discipline of psychoanalysis began to target the mind as a separate entity. In the 20th century, scientists began to expose the connections between the mind and brain, but still tended to treat the head as if it was detached from the rest of the body. Accidental discoveries in antidepressants. The creation of antidepressant drugs was unintentional. The molecule iproniazid, taken from rocket fuel used by Germans during World War II, was tested in 1952 for its ability to kill deadly TB bacteria. Not only was it successful, but it also boosted certain neurotransmitters, which scientists believed helped produce an antidepressant effect on the patients. U.S. pharma company Eli Lilly developed a new class of antidepressants to boost levels of the neurotransmitter serotonin, called selective serotonin reuptake inhibitors, SSRIs, with Prozac being the most prominent brand. While some people find SSRIs to be effective, the theory that depression is caused by an imbalance in neurotransmitters is not proven. As a result, there have been no major advances in developing drugs for depression in the past 30 years, as the right target has yet to be found. Inflammation and depression. The book discusses the link between depression and the immune system and how recent studies have shown that inflammation causes depression. Two new medical fields of research, neuroimmunology and immunopsychiatry, emerged from the papers linking depression to the immune system that were published in the 90s. Studies have shown that high levels of inflammation proteins known as cytokines and C-reactive protein, CRP, are linked to depressive tendencies. Recent studies have shown that inflammation causes depression by proving that it develops first, before depression. The book also discusses the effects of vaccination on people's thoughts and behaviors, which causes temporary inflammatory reactions that can activate the emotional brain network, something typically found in depressed people. The book explores the connection between the immune system and the brain and why the human body's ancient defense mechanism affects mood in such a drastic way. The connection between inflammation and the brain. Scientists once believed that the blood-brain barrier, BBB, was impenetrable, separating the brain from the immune system. However, recent discoveries show that certain molecules and proteins can pass through the BBB, causing inflammation in the brain. The vagus nerve, in response to inflammatory cytokines, sends signals to the brain, resulting in macrophages being active and damaging surrounding cells. Inflammation also disrupts the flow of neurotransmitters, leading to memory loss and cognitive impairments. The brain can also act on the immune system, inhibiting inflammation in the body by sending electrical signals back through the vagus nerve to the immune system control center of the spleen. Chronic inflammation and its causes. Chronic inflammation can be caused by autoimmune disorders, genetic factors, lifestyle choices, obesity, and stress. Stress is the biggest contributor and is linked to depression. Our immune system responds to protect our bodies, but chronic inflammation can have severe effects on our health and well-being. Autoimmune disorders such as lupus, Hashimoto's disease, and rheumatoid arthritis lead to persistent inflammation. However, even seemingly healthy individuals may suffer from inflammation due to genetics, lifestyle choices, and circumstances. Obesity is another risk factor. Overweight people have higher levels of cytokines and C-reactive protein, CRP, and this may be one of the reasons for higher rates of depression. Scientists have also connected stress to chronic inflammation and depression. Stressful situations such as poverty, debt, social isolation, or even minor social stresses cause temporary inflammatory activation. This can lead to a host of health issues as cytokine levels and CRP increase. Stress is the biggest contributor to chronic inflammation, and 80% of depressive episodes are preceded by stressful events. Stress impacts the immune system, leading to elevated cytokine and CRP levels. For example, giving a speech can cause temporary inflammatory activation, which can have long-lasting effects on health. Understanding the sources of inflammation can lead to better health outcomes. Chronic inflammation can affect moods, behaviors, and thoughts, and understanding the causes can help prevent or lessen chronic inflammation. The evolutionary theory of depression. Inflammation and depressive symptoms may have been advantageous during human evolution, according to the author's evolutionary theory. Gene mutations that boosted inflammation and sickness behaviors associated with depression increased the chances of survival in dangerous environments. Lethargy and social withdrawal also help to save resources and prevent the spread of infectious diseases within tribes. Premature activation of inflammation in response to social stress, such as quarreling, could have provided an advantage for fighting off subsequent infections. This theory sheds light on why depression persists in modern times, even though it shortens life expectancy. Treating inflammatory depression. Inflammatory depression remains a challenging illness to treat, and professional treatment options are still limited. Anti-inflammatory drugs have not been licensed yet due to their side effects, but studies have shown that they can have a mild antidepressant effect on people with depression. The first anti-inflammatory drugs for depression are expected to come to market in about 5 to 10 years. Meanwhile, non-drug treatments such as bioelectric devices that stimulate the vagus nerve and lifestyle changes that fight potential underlying causes of inflammation, such as stress and obesity, may be recommended by physicians. However, mental illness can have many causes, and treatment must be personalized and holistic, aiming to break the vicious cycle of stress, inflammation, and depression.
The Inflamed Mind by Edward Bullmore presents a groundbreaking theory on the connection between inflammation and depression. We learn that the immune system's inflammation response may in fact play a role in chronic depression, shedding light on the need for a more holistic approach to mental health treatments. While existing treatment options for inflammatory depression are limited, the understanding of the connection between the immune system, inflammation, and mental health reveals promising avenues for future treatments. Ultimately, this new perspective on the mind-body connection could lead to more tailored and effective treatments for depression, as it emphasizes the importance of personalizing and considering holistic approaches to mental health care.